Good morning, Manchester United fans, or is it really a good morning? Last night, Manchester United yet again pulled out another embarrassing performance at Old Trafford, where the players were booed off for the second game in a row at Old Trafford. Everton and now West Ham, two teams struggling down at the bottom, and the aftermath from that game might be too much for Ruben Amorim. His press conference, his comments yesterday after that game, I am absolutely livid with. Absolutely livid with. I'm going to go through the reaction from the game inside the stadium, the fan reaction from it. We'll talk about the players. We'll talk about Ruben. We'll talk about what's coming up for Manchester United. What is next? Is his neck well and truly on the block if he doesn't get something against Wolves? I'm not Amorim in, I'm not Amorim out. I'm something worse right now, and I've never felt this way. I'm going to explain everything in this live show this morning about how I feel, what I have listened to in terms of other fans' reactions last night, and in and around the whole mood, all of the media reaction to this. And again, I said it a minute ago there, Ruben's reaction is the worst thing for me from last night. And that's putting that player's performance into the equation as well, which was an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. Every single one of them players. The game itself, the fan reaction to it. So I did a poll last night after my reaction. We sat in the stadium and we did the vlog. We talked about what was going on in that moment in the game. Again, confident that Manchester United were not going to be able to score. We had literally 10 minutes worth to play around with before the game finished. And I'd already done my reaction. I already knew what was coming. We were absolutely dreadful in that game there. The fans inside Old Trafford now. And you know what? No one's going to pick up on this. I'm going to tell you exactly how I seen it. In that game there, them players got the support that they don't deserve. I'm telling you right now, the Stretford end rose and the atmosphere was good, even when we were shit. And I'm sorry I'm swearing first thing in the morning. I'm still livid after that performance last night from Manchester United. They don't deserve this fan base. I'm going to make that clear before we get into anything on Ruben Amorim or anything like that. Them players, I swear, I'm gritting my teeth right now talking about them, so you know how angry I am and you know how I'm feeling right now. I'm being deadly serious with this. They don't deserve anything from this fan base to constantly turf out that absolute shit on the pitch at Old Trafford. People paying thousands. I know people that were getting there late because of traffic last night, that were travelling in from overseas to watch that crap. I'm seeing fans posting on social media, woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch that crap. Don't think I'll bother next time. This is where this fan base is at right now. They have fallen out of love with this team. You can feel it. You don't get booed off at Old Trafford. You never get booed off at Old Trafford unless it's bad. And this is crap. It's absolutely pathetic. And this team and how they turn out and the way that they mopes around that pitch and react to adversity is an absolute disgrace. They all should be docked wages. They all should be set up in front of a panel of fans just so the fans can release themselves on them. So they know exactly what this does to everybody at Manchester United. It's the hope that kills you, they say, isn't it? It's the hope that gets you when you're watching Manchester United. They bring you up to slap you straight back down. I'm sick to death of backing them. I said it last night. I'm numb to this team. So what happens now from this season? I got no idea how I'm going to react to it. But last night absolutely buried me and my hopes, or any hope I had for this team. And that's just the players on their own. And then we move on to, obviously, Ruben Amorim. We'll go into a bit more detail on the players in a minute in this show. Ruben Amorim last night, the substitutes. Now, that's been picked up by absolutely everybody. And I've seen it online. I've actually got an image here. Even my brother sent me an image this morning of it to explain this. The substitutes last night, and you would have seen this. You would have seen this. If you were watching Man United, you might have just gone to bed and just buried yourself in your covers because you didn't want to listen to anything. A lot of fans, I don't blame you for doing that, to be honest. But social media was completely jam-packed with hate and criticism for Ruben Amorim, and his substitutes are taking the main brunt of it. And you can feel it in the fan base. Honestly, inside the stadium, it had the same feeling. So people at home that were watching, people at home that were on social media complaining about this, it's not just them. It's not just trolls. It's not just haters. It's actual fans inside the stadium asking why Aiden Hetman is coming off for Lenny Yoro. Dorgu on for Dallo. 2 defensive substitutions. Shaw for Martinez. I'll get onto that one in a minute. Oh my God. And you've got Cunha off for Agate, a defensive midfielder. And the only game-changing substitute he made, which wasn't even game-changing, was Xerxes for Mount. Realistically, you bring in a striker off, who was playing as your number 9, for another number 10. That was his substitute. Yes, we haven't got a striker on the bench. Yes, we're struggling at the moment. But Samuel Luckhurst asked the question to Ruben Amorim in the press conference last night. Could you have made any more attacking style substitutions in that game? Could you have done anything else? And Ruben angrily responded back. He's probably fed up with Samuel Luckhurst because he's so negative anyway, but all these players are doing is feeding journalists like this at the moment. And Ruben's not helping himself one bit when dealing with the media now at this moment. Ruben's response to that question was what really riled me. Look, don't get me wrong, Samuel Luckhurst isn't my favourite journalist, but he's asked a question there that he knows every single fan around the world following Manchester United wants to ask Ruben Amorim in that moment. What about Kobbie Mainoo? Ruben Amorim laughs it off in the press conference. He laughed it off. Now, you know my stance on Kobbie Mainoo. Get in line, perform and get in this team. But when you're losing a game, well, we're not losing a game. It felt like a loss. That's how bad it was last night. The game's at 1-1. And you're looking for some change. Like, what can you do? What can you do? He brings off Luke Shaw for Lisandro Martinez. I'm gone. At that moment in the stadium, I'm gone. I'm done with him. I'm like, how is Lisandro Martinez, who's not played for a year, going to change this game? You're making a substitution because Luke Shaw might be tired. I get that. I totally get Luke Shaw coming off the pitch. Not got an issue with that. It's who's coming on the pitch and what he is going to bring this team. Lisandro Martinez is not going to change this game. He's not going to do it. So what is he hoping for? That he's going to get one of the miraculous Martinez balls that fed Ahmad in the latter stages of the Manchester derby last season. Maybe he can pick out that pass. Maybe he can pick out that ball that might just get something in the box. That's where we're going. That's, honestly, and for him to laugh off the Kobbie Mainoo conversation, like, honestly, like, you've got Shea Lacey there. Why not? I say it all the time, don't I? At this point, it's like, what's the point in bringing the academy players in, honestly? Put Shea Lacey back in the under-21s or load him out, because he's not going to get in this side. He's not going to get in this side with Ruben Amorim in charge on the pitch, because we're never in a position to bring them on. Look, I'm all for making sure that the youth players wait, making sure that we nurture them through properly, and make sure that they're given the right opportunities. And just say, let's just say, like, when United are, as a first team, and we call them that lightly, as a first team, they are actually used to what Ruben wants and the system is working and they're playing well, then you bring in academy players to make them work. I'm all for that, but it's pointless bringing anyone on the bench at the moment. I'm dead excited to see him. I'm dead excited to see players like that on the bench, but if they're going to be on the bench, you've got to use them. You have to use them. You have to be confident in that player being ready to play. And Ruben said he's ready to play. Ruben said in his press conference, Shea Lacey is ready. When he will come on, I don't know. Well, I'm going to answer that question for you, Ruben. He's never going to come on because you cannot control the game. You have got in-game management, which everyone is scratching their heads at, which makes no sense whatsoever. Luke Shaw was on a yellow card. He has said that as well. Luke Shaw, yellow card, bring him off. What the hell is it with this yellow card bollocks? Was it Luke Shaw? Yeah, Luke Shaw did have a yellow card, actually, in that game. But his explanation for bringing Aiden Heaven off, yellow card. Does that you just don't trust the player then? That's it. Is that not demoralising the player again? I'm scratching my head. Last time we got beat by Everton, I was trying to find positives to try and back the man, but he just buried himself last night. Completely buried himself. And the fan base are reacting to it the way I expected them to. Why are you bringing players off every time they get yellow cards? It's like, now, you expect intensity. You expect these players to fight more, be quicker to second balls, he says. Be at it and be more reactive. They're scared of tackling because if they get a yellow card, they're going to be subbed off the bleeding pitch. Casemiro happens to him every single week. Last night, he didn't get booked. He stayed on the pitch. Casemiro's blueprint for staying on the pitch is not getting a yellow card. And this manager wants us to be intensive in the tackle. But he can feel me getting absolutely wound up with thinking back to last night. I've still not recovered from watching it last night, honestly. This is where we're at. Aiden Heaven, young lad coming on, first game of the season. It was a surprise that he came on the pitch. And to be fair to Lenny Yoro, when he came on, I thought he did all right. But where's Aidan Heaven's head at right now? If you get a yellow card, the manager doesn't trust you to be professional enough and handle that. He has to learn. So that alone was another issue that I had as well. And the excuses for bringing on defenders constantly in this game. 4 defensive substitutes. And the top one, the Joshua Zirkzee for Mason Mount one, that's inexplicable. The whole substitutions were inexplicable overall. But that one, again, to even try and say that that's an offensive move as well. No, it's not. Because it's a like for like. It's not changing the game in any way. You can bring him off at half time and maybe try and work something in with plenty of time. But when the chips are down, you don't start making defensive substitutions. It's not going to help you. It isn't. I understand there isn't a striker on the bench. I do. I get that. But why? Why are we not changing shape, Ruben, and just putting another midfielder on there who's got an attacking brain in his head? Like I said, Kobbie Mainoo hasn't done anything to warrant a place in this side this season. But you know what? In moments, things like this can change a player's season. The fact that he's not got on the pitch ahead of them players that have come on last night when United needed a win tells me that Kobbie Mainoo is gone. Maybe Kobbie Mainoo actually may think now that he's got a chance at Manchester United because Ruben might not survive. Ruben might not actually be at the football club by the end of the season. The way it's going, like I've said before, if Ruben doesn't get European football, he's out. And he's heading that way at the moment. And like I said before, just before we get into the comment section here now, I'm not Ruben in or Ruben out. I'm something completely worse. I'm just a fan right now that has just given up completely on this team. I've given up hope. I watch every game. I support the team every single game. But I've got no hope for the season now at all. There's no point in actually getting yourself up thinking that Manchester United can get to where we should be anymore. You might as well just give up. And I'll explain what I mean more by that in a moment. But I do want to give everyone their chance because I had tons and tons of messages last night, as you can imagine. And I do think that United now have pushed this fan base completely over the edge. So I'm going to randomly, and I do apologise. So if you haven't had your comment read out while we're live now this morning, then please do get your comments into the comment section when the live is finished, and I'll have a trace through them throughout the day as well. God knows. By the way, we've got Ruben's press conference coming up this lunchtime as well, ahead of Wolves. How bad is that going to be? Days. Anyway, let's get into some of the comments. And again, apologies. I'm just going to scroll up and randomly stop it and then get through as many as I can. Like Matt says there, Heaven off before sent off. That's just putting no trust in your player at all. Players get yellow cards all the time. You don't bring them off because they're on yellow cards. That's just ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous, in my opinion. Morning Reds, says Mickey. Decisions from the manager could have been better. But those players, I think it's supposed to say, should be good enough to win at home against West Ham. It's on the players. Yes, well, there you go. We've got a poll running right now, which is that. Who is at fault? It's all on Ruben. It's all on the players. It's on Ruben and the players. That is where we're at, isn't it? And that's why I made the point at the start of this show by saying that them players, they're an absolute disgrace. They are. Every single one of them. I don't care for any of them. That's how I feel this morning after that performance. Because as a team, collectively, we can't pick out individuals. It's pointless picking out individuals anymore. Because as a team, they're all scared. There's no one brave enough to take anything on. And it's a point there. The players have to take accountability. Are they being held to accountability by the manager? Well, that's when you move on to the next discussion. Because there's certain players there that are just not working. And again, I said it last night with the likes of Dalot. For a player to be subbed off 9 minutes after scoring what we thought was going to be the winning goal last night showed you how crap he was. Just stood there in the box like, had no idea why he was there, what he was doing. The ball fell at his feet and he put it in the back of the net. He goes off celebrating like he's won the World Cup final again. And that's when Roy Keane's comments came in last night as well. I don't know if you've seen them also. Celebrating every single moment in the game. The standards have gone to crap at Manchester United. That's where a lot of people are looking at it. Some of the old school fans anyway. Shaw and Heaven did have a very bad game, so it makes sense to sub them. It's not the point, mate. You can talk about that, but They're talking about Luke Shaw not having a good game isn't relevant, really. It's the change of how we're trying to move this game forward, how we're trying to get the goal. Shaw can come off, not got a problem with that. Not got a problem with that. It's who you bring on for him that's the problem. That's what we're talking about here. Evan, honestly, I thought Evan adapted well after his yellow card. I didn't think he wanted to be taken off. And when Ruben took him off, he said he missed Aiden Heaven's height. And they end up losing the goal to a set piece. I will end that poll in a moment as well. Just get your thoughts. We'll keep a few different polls running this morning as well. Sesko says, no English player will sign for Manchester United while Amorim is in charge because of how he's treating Menu. We should forget about Anderson and Wharton joining us. Bigger picture here is coming into play, I think, with a lot of people as well. The more and more it settles in and the more you start to digest what happened last night and what it could mean. If you can't beat Everton at home, you can't beat West Ham at home, and this team is falling and falling and falling, what does that mean later on? And I'll explain what I mean by that again in a minute, because it involves transfers. It involves bringing players in. This is why you can't allow it to get to a stage where we can't get into Europe. I just think that that is something that needs to be thought of as well. Ruben does not use young players. Our best team ever were built on youth. Every time he makes late changes, it costs us. Got in here. There's only one way they were going to score, a set piece, and we kept conceding corners like we were 3-0 up. Passing the ball around last night like we were 3-0 up. They're dead right on that comment. When we were 1-0 up, we're not a team that can play out a 1-0 win. Talking to Ben Thornley after the game, actually, and I said he didn't even realise we've had one clean sheet all season in 15 games. One clean sheet in 15 games. We cannot score one goal and hold on to it. That is not our team. We haven't got that. And this team in their heads are passing it around like we'd won the game. Wow. Wow is all I'm saying. It's crazy. My confidence in United, in the United team over the last 5 years has disappeared. Top 6 is disappearing fast. I've always backed the coach. I'm now questioning if he is good enough for United. Yep, again. Keep picking his favourites. Shows weak management. Having Fernandes on the field with his sulking, desperate for free kicks, missing chances, etc., is not Manchester United. Andrew says, Wan-Bissaka had a good game and played like he rarely played for us. United lacked energy, and I am delusional thinking before every game we will win. Where we're at. Do you think Sir Jim Radcliffe and co will sack Ruben Amorim? It's not if you think Ruben will be sacked. Do you think there'll be a point where the Ineos management team will sack Ruben? Just what you think they will do. Get into that poll, everybody, and let me know. Get a few more comments in. We do have a super chat in there as well, just seen pop in, and that one's come from Raphael. Players can't be trusted. I think any manager would have in-game problems. They just couldn't be bothered. Ruben resigns or sacked. Same players, mental. See, this is where the conversation goes on to the player versus the manager side of things, isn't it? It's like how much accountability is on the players' shoulders and how much is on Ruben. We've got rid of so many of the players that everybody thought Manchester United needed to get rid of. They're walking around Rashfords, the Garnachos, the Antonys of this world. No more Jadon Sanchos. Everyone wanted Scott McTominay out because the managers kept playing him in the wrong position. Look, there's so much more. Until, well, let's just say the old guard, again, it's the same conversation. Them players that everybody talks about all of the time on my channel, on other people's, and on polls and different podcasts all around social media. The same players, the same players. It's like Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Diogo Dalot, that bunch of players who are all in Ruben Amorim's so-called circle of trust types of players. What is it? The leadership group. Leachers in that leadership group as well. Look, but the way that I think Manchester United fans are looking at this right now is, honestly, hand on heart, I think most Manchester United fans feel like Ruben Amorim isn't going to be able to take this team to where we need to go. Can he take us to that next level? Who knows? Who knows? some fans might think that we need to see Ruben get through to this window and get rid of some of them players. But some of them players that we're all talking about are in that leadership group. These same failing players that everyone keeps going on about. I defend Bruno Fernandes. He had a shocker of a game last night. Again, let us down in front of the Old Trafford faithful. He's poor again last night. He was good against Palace, then poor against West Ham last night. It's just not consistent enough. But these players and the people that are on Ruben's side saying it's all on the players have to take accountability as well. Ruben is trusting in these players as well, though. Ruben thinks that these players are clearly good enough to do what he wants because he keeps on playing them. Let's not forget, he was the one that wanted and said yes to Patrick Dorgu, who is struggling badly this season. When he came on the pitch again, it's thankless at the moment swapping between Dorgu and Dalot. I seen a great tweet last night which said, watching Dalot makes me miss Dorgu, and then watching Dorgu makes me miss Dalot. It's you don't know where to go with it, do you? That's where we're at with these types of players right now. It just isn't ever going to change. It's not going to change. Ruben's tried to come in and change it with his system and thinks that these players need to be disciplined in his system and we're not going to change. And we've been crying out for that for a long time. So I don't necessarily think that the fan base is an in or an out with Ruben Amorim totally. I think inside, I think subconsciously people are like, just don't see it working at all at Manchester United. There's always going to be a fundamental inside problem at Manchester United that no one can put their finger on. Whether it's the manager, whether it's the players, whether it's the manager not playing the right players, playing the wrong system, whether it's the players' attitude on the pitch, whether it's just that they've been given too much too soon. There's too many things going wrong, and I just don't see this changing. It's not going to change anytime soon anyway. I thought Manchester United were good enough to get into Europe this season. I did, and I've been backing that. I do think the players on and in our squad are good enough, but that takes us on to the next problem, really, and it's the deterioration of certain players as well. Matheus Cunha, last season, world beater for Wolves. He's had probably, 2 really good games for Manchester United this season. And the last 2 games, Bryan Mbeumo has been poor. We're starting to bring the so-called better players down. The disease is spreading. That Manchester United illness of coming in and being a great player, and that's why you were brought in, and then being completely destroyed by this football club. There is something wrong at Manchester United that does this to players. It really does. And the only way you can change anything is by wiping everything out. And that's never going to happen. And by wiping everything out, I mean getting rid of all of these players. So, for instance, in the summer, you would get rid of, if we were going to go down that road, and this is not what I think is going to happen. And again, I don't think we're anywhere near this, but in these last few games where Manchester United have been so poor, we haven't had a Harry Maguire at the back and conceding from set pieces. So realistically, are we saying that Harry Maguire is needed at this club and he's not one of these players that we should be getting rid of? Look, overall, there's a big bunch of these players that just need to go that are not good enough. There is. And there are players here that have failed for Manchester United constantly. So where we pick up on good performances for certain individual players, that's all we're doing. Realistically, what we have to do is look at it overall over the seasons and say, are they good enough? Have they done enough? None of them have. None of them. Because United haven't finished where we should be finishing. So really, you need to get rid of maybe 7 or 8 first-team players in the summer and start completely all over again. But then you can't do that because United need to be back in Europe. So you're going to have to add players on and try and hope that they can turn the other players at Manchester United into something. We said last week against Crystal Palace, can you afford to drop Joshua Zirkzee and Mason Mounts now? Well, yes, you can. Did he deserve a chance after that second half performance? Yes, Joshua Zirkzee did. And then he crapped the bed again in front of the Old Trafford faithful yesterday. I thought it was awful. Again, 1 good thing, 2 bad things, Joshua Zirkzee, and clearly showing that he's not good enough. Mason Mount came on the pitch, didn't have anywhere near enough time to actually impact the game. Felt sorry for Mount. If Zirkzee plays, then Mount should have played. We put Cunha in, who was cold, and I thought Cunha was very poor last night again. He is really struggling to find his feet, and he's putting too much pressure on himself, that man. He's trying to do too much, and I think he is really, really struggling now, and I don't know how it gets any better, because that then moves us on to the next point, which is last night, Manchester United were looking at a right-hand side, which was, I think, the best part about our team. Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Mbeumo. And all three of them are gone in 2 weeks. So this team is struggling and is bad now with them three. You're taking them out and hoping that this team can actually beat the likes of Aston Villa and Newcastle. I think by the new year, Manchester United, with all the hope I had going into the new year with these fixtures that we've got coming up, that we'd actually be up there and competing. I think by the new year, we could be really asking questions about whether Ruben Amorim is going to survive here, because these players can't be sold, can they? It's going to be Ruben that takes the fall for him. It's so, so bad. And yet, with Manchester United now going into these next two games, Wolves on Monday night, honestly, the conversation that was being had last night is like, this team will be the first team that allows Wolves to win a game this season. You watch it. You watch it. You watch Wolves and that Man United performance on Monday night, and everyone's saying what we're doing now and how we're playing, we realistically are going to be the ones that give Wolves their first points. That's it. And this is where Man United fans are right now. And I think we can beat Wolves. I think we will beat Wolves, because we need another Man United reaction again. And I think this is where it's at. Win one, lose one, and get absolutely nowhere. But if we lose to Wolves, then you watch this spiral completely out of control. He won't survive that. He won't survive that. Let's get through a few of these chats now. Joffers with the super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Followed United since '86 and have now cancelled my subscription service to watch this team, as they are unrecognisable, poisonous and toxic from top to bottom. That's painful there. That is damning comment right there. I feel your pain, mate. I do feel your pain. It feels like you shouldn't bother with them. Take out the emotion. That's how it feels. Detach your emotion away from Manchester United. It's pointless getting invested into them, isn't it? That's how it feels. It feels like you have to watch United now like a neutral. You have to take the neutral's point of view with United, because if you get invested into it, I don't know, it automatically happens because we're fans, you're just constantly let down. You're constantly demoralised by watching this team try and play football. It is scary watching them for how bad they are and how easy it is to play against us. Charles Ferguson worked on scenarios, formation and lineup, nothing else. The rest was all on the players. People put way too much emphasis on managers. Seriously, it's emphasis on managers. It's inspiring your team. When Ruben said yesterday in the press conference last night, he said, I will deal with the players tomorrow. Again, then players are walking out of Old Trafford. I would want that dressing room being absolutely torn to pieces. But Ruben going back saying, I won't go back to when I smashed the TV again and at one time I lost it. Go back to that. Show some passion. Because the day after, everything has calmed down and the true emotion is out of it. And yeah, there is part of that actually might actually seem like the sensible thing to do. But in that moment there, then players are walking out again of Old Trafford with fans waiting for them. They're walking out of Old Trafford there and they're thinking that they've just got away with it again in their heads, because nothing's been said right there. They've been booed off the pitch and the manager's not said anything. I'm not for that. I'm not for dealing with it the day after at all. I think he should be going in there and absolutely laying into him. I hope he's lying, and I hope he has done. There's no way that he can not say anything to them players after that. Not one manager worth his weight in gold would allow them players to walk out of Old Trafford without having an absolute rollicking. There's not a chance in hell that he's not said anything to them. He can't have. But again, he's not coming across the right way in the press conference. They're laughing at the Kobe Mainu situation and that scenario because of not making substitutions or attacking substitutions. stats saying that he's going to deal with the players tomorrow, saying that we controlled that game. We didn't control that game at all. What part of that game was controlled? There was nothing controlled about it. When you're at 0-0 and when you're at 1-1, sorry, 1-0, 1-1, whatever it is, there's no control over the game. The only time you've got control over a game is when you're 3-0 up, 2-0 up, and you've got all of the possession. United was still conceding chances constantly last night, even though West Ham didn't have hardly any of the ball. Every time they came forward, they looked like they were going to open United up. They always had one or two players more. It happened in the first minutes of the game. Edge of the box. It was scary watching how Manchester United players scrambled around that pitch last night. It really was. And I'm so disappointed in the team. I feel like they have let us down again, and there's nothing that's going to be done about it. That's the feeling that I've got right now. And that's probably why I'm angry. I'm angry because I know nothing will be done. And it's just going to be the same players walk out again against Wolves. And I just got that fear that well, it's not fear actually, it's a fact that the fan base have turned on Ruben Amorim. I know it from what I'm listening to. And there's nothing I'm going to do tonight, last night, and today that's going to defend him. We'll see what he had to say in the press conference at lunchtime today. So I'll be live at 1 o'clock again, everybody, with Ruben's press conference. And by the way, that press conference for the Wolves game would have come right after the post-match press conference from the West Ham game last night. So the mood and the atmosphere would have been toxic. It really would. So yeah, get ready for that one. Liam says, we've been doing this for years. We limp along playing shite, then pick up a couple of wins and revert back to shite. Rinse and repeat. I'm looking on the bright side, sitting here enjoying a Mackey's. Is it a sausage and egg McMuffin, mate? You need more context and detail. When you start talking food, you need to give me more, buddy. Adam, you keep saying about the players not being good enough, being sold. It should start at the top. Get rid of Amorim. He's done nothing. He should be gone. Well, look, I'm not just saying the players. I'm saying both. And when I say that the players aren't going to change, it's because the manager keeps backing them. I think I've been quite balanced in my argument this morning for both. I don't like Ruben Amorim, what he did last night. I've got no excuse for him. He deserves the criticism he's getting. And I'm not going to help him out at all. And the players are an absolute disgrace. Every single one of them. I hate them all this morning. And that's a fan just being a fan. That's where I'm at right now. And you are allowed to hate on these players. You really are. Don't think that you going up and down and flip-flopping in terms of opinion is wrong. You're a fan and you're reacting to how your team is driving you up the wall. And that's what this bunch of players are doing this season. It just so happens that the manager is just piling in on top of that and making it worse with what he says and how the game goes. But the emotions of the game and everyone's opinions right after a game obviously change the day after. And that might be where Ruben's trying to go with this and trying to keep calm. But if you don't lose it, if you don't show emotion and you don't show a reaction, then you won't get anything back. And this is where I think Ruben is at. In that big space at Carrington with different rooms and chance to go and speak to everyone individually, I think, yes, you can get it can go under the radar a little bit. And the reaction from Ruben Amorim isn't the same. It doesn't have the same impact. Get in that dressing room and rip some heads off. So many private messages last night telling me, that's it, I'm done. I'm done. I backed the manager, backed him, but now it's time. I can't keep watching this. And this is the difference now. It's like, this is match-going fans that are now turning. Because at Old Trafford this season, up until the Everton game, it's been good. And then the last two games, it's just been too much for fans. And they are ready. They're baying for blood. They really are. Let's go back to that poll, actually, and see where everyone's at in terms of what you think will happen. Do you think Sir Jim Ratcliffe and co will sack Ruben Amorim? 55% of you said no. I put a poll up on the channel last night on the community section saying, would you sack Ruben? Is he Ruben in or Ruben out at the moment? Just to gauge where everyone was at after last night. I think it turned out to be 61% of the Man United fan base who voted. I think it was just under 2,000 were 61% with Ruben out. They don't see him turning it around. I don't think it's because they don't like the guy. I think it's because they just don't see enough in him to be able to turn this around. So it's why delay the inevitable sort of mindset right now amongst Manchester United fans. What's the point in continuing doing the same thing over and over again? And that, I think, that's where it's at. We are no better than last year. We just have one or two players who can get a goal now, and even then we score set pieces most of the time. I saw this coming, have been realistic since the summer. That was from Carl. It's all right being realistic, Carl. We're talking about fans here, just being fans and hoping for the best. No one's right and no one's wrong in any of this at all. And I feel like this is what it's always like inside a fan base, isn't it? I think the fact that Manchester United have been getting it wrong for so long has just turned fans into what we are now. And it's not bad, by the way. And Carl's right. He has been dead straight down the middle with every comment that he's made. And he has been honest. He just doesn't see it. And there's a lot of fans that are just watching the games because they are Man United supporters. They're not watching them thinking that this is the moment. They're expecting the worst constantly all of the time. And that's what this team has done. That's what Man United have done to this fan base. That there is no confidence left in. Even the most optimistic fans, like you could say myself, like I'm never fully confident in this team. I just don't know what's coming next. Get a few more comments in, actually, just to see where everyone else. Try and balance it out a little bit. And seeing if there is anyone that is actually still hopeful. I'm not seeing any of it. He deserves until next Christmas. Then at least we can say he was backed and given time. Every team in the league, apart from Arsenal, are inconsistent this season, which makes it worse, Bob. That's it. It's like everyone's crap, so United need to be crapper. That doesn't sound right, does it? But that's where it is. It's like, oh, everyone else has lost, so we'll lose. It's like, it's not okay that United are in a season where everyone's off it. That's not okay. We still have to win games. United still have to win their games. We can't just let them off because everyone else is crap. Everyone else is awful. It's just not going to happen. And it's just, honestly, right now, with this Man United fan base, it's in a mess. It is. It's in a mess. And no one knows what to think, really. All he can do is react to what they're watching. And what they're watching is just underperforming players week in, week out, with no consistency whatsoever. And that, I think, is why it's not even so much a divided fan base now. It's sort of all going in the same direction. Only in for a minute, as they don't deserve my time of day right now. We'll have to earn it from now on. This one hurts deeply, completely unacceptable. And talking about his dear friend in the chat there as well. Joe Turner says, hi Adam, two choices: drop the first team and play the youth and see how good a coach he is, or play the first team and bring in a new manager. In Ineos, don't care about the team, just the stadium, mate. Don't think it's anything like that or as severe as that. I just don't feel like we'd done enough in the transfer window. We did bring in the right types of players. Recruitment was good in what we did, but did we do enough of that good recruitment? Super chats in. One from Try. It says, I think that your name's run out on YouTube. Sorry, I can't read it all out. But Ruben, in the post press conference, we need to score more goals. Why the F do you take off all defensive players on a 1-0 then, Ruben, at Old Trafford versus West Ham? Someone else going in there on Ruben's substitutions again. We used to get angry with Woodward, yet at least we were competitive. Mostly now, look at us under Ineos. So Jim is the Glazers 2.0. No idea. Look, I don't think that is the case. So like I said, I still back what Ineos are doing at the football club. But the problem they've got is they're now fully behind a manager that is, again, failing with this team. And his record and his win ratio in the Premier League is unacceptable. It is absolutely pathetic. on paper, you just cannot. Normally, the manager would be gone by now. There is this thing where Ineos feel like they have to back Ruben Amorim because he is going to change it in time. Like, they have to give this manager more time because he has done so much and given them belief in what he said and his vision. It's going to come down to winning games of football, and he's going to run out. I fear for this team when AFCON comes around now. I really do. I was looking forward to this group of fixtures. I thought December was going to be a bit of a bonanza for United and we could actually start to mount a charge and move forward. Now, I'm looking at it and I'm really scared as to what is coming. Leo says, who's just renewed his membership, adds 2 hash browns, a double sausage McMuffin and a coffee. It's not too bad, mate. Thanks, Leo, mate. 1 year into a 3-year rebuild for F's sake. Is it a 3-year rebuild, though? And that is your opinion on that, buddy. And United cannot be out of Europe. Rebuilds don't happen unless we get into Europe, mate. And we're not getting there at this rate. That's the problem, mate. It's like you have to at least be able to beat Everton and West Ham. I'm sorry, that has to happen. What was the smug smile, laugh, or whatever he did when a reporter asked him about Manu? Please explain. I have explained already on that one, Sunset, mate. I was talking about this earlier on. I don't know if you were in the show earlier on, but when that question was asked, that's not helping Ruben Amorim in the way that he reacted to the Kobe Manu situation. It just did not help him. And what he's saying right now is not helping him. It really isn't. It's going to be a tough old slog this week for him. And again, we'll be back at 1 o'clock with his press conference ahead of the Wolves game. That's not going to go well either, because it's the same journalist straight off the back of that game last night asking the same questions again. And I don't think he's got the answers to it. I don't think he knows what he's going to do. I fear, like, this is a... I mean, let's just go back a year ago after that Ipswich game. And this is what Phil Brown said last night. He tweeted this out, Phil. And he went, 13 months ago, Ruben Amorim said that if we didn't change now, then he would guarantee we would be in the same position 12 months later. So where exactly are we now? The same position. And we haven't moved. And everything that you try and defend Ruben with comes back and slaps him back down by stats and facts. And that's it. You're fighting a battle here for a manager that really isn't giving you enough back. It's like blind faith. That's what it is right now. We don't want to sack a manager. I like Ruben Amorim. I like his attitude. I like his persona. I like everything about him. But my team is being absolutely destroyed. And it's hard to watch. And there is no real, I don't think, belief. And I said this was my big word last night. Belief in this team for what Ruben Amorim is asking them to do is not there. It's non-existent. They don't think that they could. They didn't think they could win that game last night. That was clear on the pitch. They did not think that they could win that football match. And that's the hard truth. That is where this team is. I don't think they believe in what Ruben is telling them. They can come out and say it, but the only way you can judge whether a team is fully behind the manager is how they perform on the pitch. And right now, they're showing their true colours. They're showing exactly how they think, what they think of Ruben Amorim on the pitch. That's how I judge it anyway. And this is why I'm so disappointed in these players again. And the fear is, like, if another manager comes in, them same players get the same rope again and get given another chance. And there's a part of me that wants to see Ruben stay just so we can get rid of these players. But that's not really fair, because we want to see better performing football matches. We want to see players play better and this team play better. And it's just not going to happen. Do I give up a season just so I get rid of certain players? I'm not prepared to sit there week in, week out, spending thousands every single season watching that shit. And that's why I'm reacting the way I'm reacting. And I think every single Man United fan that came out of that stadium last night was exactly the same way. It was so toxic again. 2 games in a row now coming out of Old Trafford like that. That is not good for Manchester United. That isn't taking this team anywhere. Being booed off, the confidence in the players is going to drop. The support, like I said before, the support that these players got in that game last night was They didn't deserve it. And look, the Ruben Amorim song hasn't been sung for a very long time at Old Trafford that I can remember. That's gone now, and it is all going down that slippery slope again. All of a sudden, you've gone like Manchester United have lost 1 game in 8, and you'd go, "What? We're overreacting. That's not too bad. We're not losing many games of football." But when you look at what we've done recently, a Spurs side which just cannot win at home, that you were leading, you dropped 2 points. Going before that, leading the game against Nottingham Forest, you dropped points there. The game was in your hands. There was no threat from the opposition, and you dropped points there. So Forest and Spurs. Let's not even get into the Everton game. Pathetic. Yes, you pulled back the Crystal Palace game in the second half. And I think it was Ty Marshall from the MEN asked Ruben Amorim last night in the press conference that you've only won 1 second half all season. I'm like, is he right when he asked that? Man United have won 1 second half all season. That was against a tiring Crystal Palace. So it's like the media are having goals at Ruben as well there. It's not only have you won 1 second half all season, you've won 1 second half all season. That was against a tiring Crystal Palace side because they played in Europe. They have got their hands around Ruben's neck right now, and the media are squeezing tight on him. And he needs to pull something out of the bag. He needs to get results and performances. It just doesn't look like these players believe in him. And that's what we're watching on the pitch. I don't care what anybody says. We're going back to that stat. 1 second half all season, I'm thinking back, I'm going, right. And you go through the games and you're like, oh, God, it is. We haven't won a second half apart from Crystal Palace. I mean, Grimsby in the Cup, we won that second half. I'm going through them all in my head and I'm thinking, Burnley, no, that was a draw. Arsenal, obviously, that was the same again in that game. You look at Fulham, no, go again. We haven't won a second half, which is crazy. But then again, we have been saying this, haven't we? We haven't put 90 minutes of football together all season. The best performance of the season was against Brighton at home. And that game gave us a lot of hope. And Ruben was trying to play it down again last night in the press conference on the games, like I've always said. And this is where he's always been able to bail himself out. He's always said that we're not there. Even when we win games, we still need to do a lot more, which is fair. I'm not going to have a go at him for that, because you can't come out and say that we've turned the corner every single time we win a game. And he hasn't done that, to be fair to Ruben Amorim. He's always been straight, and he's always been saying that Manchester United still need to do more and more and more. It's the next game. It's the next game. First question he was asked in the press conference last night was, like, how disappointing are you? And like, what's the mood like in the changing rooms? And he just said, look, we're disappointed. We go around and we look forward to the next game again. And it's always going to be the same. It's like a robot when he's being asked them questions in the press conference. Sadly, I think there's too many false dawns with him. So it's going to be, I feel now, I don't know. I'm thinking in my head there. I'm like, right, what's going to happen now? I've not got an idea. I've not got a bleeding clue where we go from here. And honestly, I'm looking at that Wolves game and I'm like, don't even dare. Don't give them their first win of the season. Don't give them a point. And I'm saying this now, and you know how I've been fighting against myself and fighting with other fans over Ruben Amorim. If he does not win against Wolves, sack him there. That's where I'm at. If you cannot get this team up to beat Wolves, you sack him after that game. And I've said that's going against what I've said in terms of sacking him at the end of the season. I think we will beat Wolves. So I just want to make that clear. I'm not hiding behind anything. I will be getting him out of this football club if he doesn't beat Wolves. Cannot allow that. You cannot have that result. That would be too much. I'm trying to back him here by saying you go out and beat Palace, West Ham, and bleeding Wolves, and then he doesn't beat West Ham, and he loses or draws to Wolves, then that's it. There's no hope for him. And I'm not saying this, I'm not going on my own thing here or trying to big something up. and make a scene out of this. I'm just saying that if you cannot get them players to beat that shocking Wolves side, who are going to have their best player missing. By the way, West Ham had Paqueta missing yesterday and still managed to get a draw. If he does not beat Wolves, if he does not beat Wolves, then this football club has to sack him on Tuesday because the team have given up on him and they're not going to change. So I'm not saying that this is all on Ruben, but for the sake of this football club and its fan base, these players, again, we know what these players are like. We cannot sit through result after result after result and performance like this. We can't. We need something to cheer. And this is a sad state of where Manchester United is right now. And to go back to where I was at the top of this video, I said, I'm not an Amorim in, I'm not an Amorim out, I'm something worse. I'm a fan that's giving up on this team. And that's what I wanted to explain. Just as we finish the show up, that's where I am. Ruben has to go because I just want to be able to watch something. I'm sick of watching shit. I want to be able to watch something and get behind something. And at the moment, I'm taking anything because it's just not going to work for him. I think we'll beat Wolves. I really do think we'll beat Wolves. But if he doesn't and this team won't play for him against them and get the result, then that there is a sackable offence. That's it. I cannot explain properly how I am right now as a United fan. Honestly, that's how bad they've got me. I'm an absolute mess inside with this team. And I don't know which way I'm going. I'm toing and froing. I'm all over the bleeding place now. I'm trying to think how Ruben can change it. I've tried to be positive. I looked at certain players' performances. They're coming back. That's going to be good. That's how we survive AFCON. And then, bang. Yet again, the team do that. And you don't know where you stand. Don't know where you stand. It's a madness, this, at the moment, and where we're at as fans at this football club. I can't believe it's gone on that long, the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Absolutely love that. I'm going to cut it there because we have got more content coming up later on. I had loads of comments in there. I'm sorry I can't get to everyone's. The chat is going so fast. Please do drop your comments in when the live is finished. Thank you, mods, in the chat as well. And thank you, everybody, for the super chats as well. Your support is massively appreciated. Please pop a like on this video and make sure that you do hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you so much, everybody. The poll has finished there as well, as you can see in the chat, and 53% of you don't think that Ineos are going to do anything with Ruben Amorim. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all later on.